Meeting to order, Jackson County Commission work session, April 2nd, 2018. First, we have a roll call. Mr. Manning, would you please?
District 1, Mr. Guthrie.
Present.
District 2, Mr. Venable.
Present.
District 3, Ms. Gilbert.
Present.
District 4, Mr. Sis. Present. Chairman also present.
Thank you, Mr. Manning. Next, we have invocation. We have a Revenue Commissioner, Mr. Jeff Arnold.
Let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day. Lord, we thank you for this county that you allowed us to live in, Lord. We thank you for these leaders that are here today, Lord. We just pray that you just put your hand on them, Lord. Just give them patience and understanding, Lord. All the people that are around us that are less fortunate, Lord, we just pray that you help us to be mindful of them. Watch over us and guide us, Lord. Give us what we stand in need of. It's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. If you would join Mr. Guthrie in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first thing that we have is a approval of tonight's agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second the motion.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Discussion items for the commission tonight. To discuss adding motor vehicle technician 2 title in the Revenue Commission office due to wording of the job description. Basically what this amounts to, this job position was not included in the restructuring of the positions earlier on. Motor vehicle technician 1 job description, when a person hires on, states that when Tech 1 obtains 5 years on the job, they go to a Motor Tech 2. The commission needs to create a position for Motor Tech 2. This would be from a Motor Tech 1 to a grade. A Motor Tech 1 would be a grade 5, and a Motor Tech 2 would be a grade 6. Now, Mr. Jeff Arnold is here if you need any more clarification, or Jeff, if you would like to say anything.
It's just when we submitted those classifications, when y'all here a while back, when y'all redone everything, I submitted job descriptions for my ladies in the tag office. So the job descriptions say when you get hired, after you have 5 years experience and you completed all the classes that you need to, and it's still at my discretion. I mean, you know, just because they have their 5 years in their classes, if I don't feel like they've done their job, you know, I'm not going to move them up. But I've got one particular that has, and she's due, and we knew she was due this year, but when we went to move her, we realized that it was just an oversight. I guess that y'all didn't create or Mr. Hodges, I guess, whoever didn't create a motor vehicle technician 2. So all I have is a 1. So y'all just create that 2. You know, 5 years from now, I'll need to create a 3 too, when she gets 5 more years here.
How many employees do you have in that classification?
I've only got, in the tag office, we have, well, I'm not sure if the motor vehicle and the real estate, they're the same. When you say classification, you talking about the grade or just that motor vehicle technician 1?
Just that motor vehicle.
Okay, so I've got 4 in there because there's a supervisor, assistant supervisor, and that leaves 4 motor vehicle technicians.
What if you were fixing to say the other part is going to have a step up also?
Well,
You just fixing the technician, but
when they get 5 years, the way the job description reads, when they get 5 years, they go from a Motor Tech 1 to a Motor Tech 2. 5 years plus their classes, plus my recommendation. I've only got 1 that's got 5 years. The rest of my people, you know, we hired 2 at one time there, so they're not even in their 6 months yet. The other one, she's been there about a year or so. But after those get 5 years, I mean, according to the plan now, when they get 5 years, then they would move up into that classification 2 also.
We need to revisit the organizational chart and put that stipulation in that slot on the organizational chart.
It's in the job description when they hire.
It's in the job descriptions that I submitted to y'all. It's in there. But I think...
But we adopted the organizational chart for every department.
Yeah.
And got, spelled out.
Right, that's exactly right. When y'all adopted that chart, all I had was motor vehicle technician 1, when I should have had a 1, 2, and 3.
And 3 won't come around for 5 more years. Is there any further discussion? Jeff, are you okay with this going from a grade 5 to a grade 6?
Yeah, I think that's what we looked at. I think that's what's supposed to be.
Right, okay. If there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda for the next commission meeting. Thank you, Jeff.
It was the next thing, me too.
No, we don't have
Get
any.
back to it.
Next is to discuss commissioner serving on the AMRV, RC, and D board. Myself, Commissioner Guffey, and Commissioner Sisk attended a meeting at Soil Water Conservation Board, and all counties that participate in this program, except Jackson County, have a commissioner that serves on this board. I believe it's a 3-person board. And this is basically, it gives opportunity for different entities in the county to get grants. And by having somebody on the board, you know more about what grants and what money is available. So I have polled the commission, and Ms. Gilbert says that she would have no obligation, no objection for being on that
If the
board.
guys don't mind, I'll do it. Did you say you want to do it, sir?
How long is the term on it? Is it?
I think it's 3 years.
Anytime you want, sir.
Not that I'm interested in, it's definitely in front of you, I just wondered.
It's okay, I don't mind. I'm interested in seeing where all the grants are anyway, and seeing what we can pull out for the communities.
Okay. If there's no objection, I'll place this on the agenda for the next commission meeting. Next, we have to discuss the Jackson County Rural Public Transportation Substance Abuse Policy. I talked with Ms. Lynn Thurman today concerning this, and this is just something, they go by ALDOT's testing. And ALDOT's testing has gotten a little bit more stringent, and they're adding other things to the drug test itself. So she's asking that we adopt this versus the one that we've got to go along with the ALDOT recommendations, because that's who the state and the federal government guidelines say they have to go by. Is there any more discussion about this? Okay, if there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda for the next commission meeting. Next, we have reports from staff. Mr. Manning, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Mr. Campbell?
No, sir, thank you.
Mr. Porter?
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Next, we're going to have the public comment from citizens. The first one that we have on the agenda that is from out of town, we want to not hold him up, is Mr. Jeff Johnson, that represents Atlantic Coast.
I just wanted to address the panel about the issue of vacating Road 248, County Road. We received an email, several stipulations that were requested, and we will agree to all those. We will maintain the complete road ourselves. We must get the gate back 100 foot and ready to turn around and a pedestrian access. So I just wanted to let y'all know y'all think it over.
Mr. Campbell, are you familiar with this road? Is this pretty much in order?
Yes, sir, it's, what Mr. Johnson's described is agreeing to the last correspondence we had.
Okay.
Addressing the concerns that were raised.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next, we're going to start with the public comments from the locals here. And most of us know that this has to do with Sarah Lane subdivision. And we're going to ask everyone to speak to try to go and stay within the 3-minute timeline. We've got several down to speak, and if you would, expect a 3-minute road. First we have on the list is Mr. Bob Spencer with the city of Stevenson.
I'll try to keep through this. I put some bullet items together to kind of clarify some stuff. This issue came up when the county engineer came up and talked to the city mayor. And we realized both the Sarah Lane subdivisions were both in our inventory and in your inventory. And when we talk about Sarah Lane subdivision, we're talking about Sharon Drive, Natalie Street, Jackson Circle. It's approximately 3/4 of a mile of roads over there. We looked at it, we estimated about 57 parcels of land are in the subdivision. I need that to confirm that with Jeff, because he always gives me a hard time whenever we get something wrong. But out of those 57, 32 or 56% are in the city limits. 25 or 44% are not in the city limits. With the city having them in our road inventory, the city's been doing maintenance and cleaning the road work there. The roads were all included in our engineering firm and review that prioritized our roads. In 2012, we had an engineering firm come in and prioritize all our roads in order of condition and how we should pave them. So we really did it to eliminate any of the politics of whose road gets paved next. Sharon, Shannon, and Jackie Circle are all in that list. They're about midpoint in the list right here. We've already completed 10 paving projects on the list, starting at the top, working our way down. So they're already in our long-term plan for that. The estimates of repaving Shannon and Sharon, they are probably at this time in 2012, they're about $100,000 or $1,700 per parcel of land in there. So it costs a lot more to pave it than we collect in taxes on that side. The city pays for all the fire hydrants. They pay a monthly fee for all the fire hydrants inside there. The city pays for the street lights. Now, there's only a few that face the street. The individual property owners pay for the street lights that are facing inside the property, and I think it's a majority of them. The subdivision receives the city's fire insurance rating for inside the city limits, the whole subdivision, regardless if they're inside or outside the city. And the city uses this because it's in our inventory, and we had it engineered for the paving. We also use those roads in the grant. So if the roads aren't in the city's inventory, that means we have to remove them from all our long-range plan. It changes what we're limited to do on those roads. Then the burden would come back to the county of what long-range plan and engineering estimates would do to pay those roads. We're going to have to, this whole subject brought up the whole hydrant fees. We don't know if we're allowed to pay for hydrants outside our city limits on that side. So that burden of cost will have to be pushed on to somebody. And with all that, taking that away, we still have 56% of the parcels of land are still inside the city limits there. The other thing we wanted to make clear, crystal clear, by law, the city will continue to provide police and fire protection to this subdivision. We cannot take that away. We have to provide that by law there. The city is not asking for any personal property to be annexed. The city's not asking the county commission to annex any personal property. There's only 3 or 4 ways to get it annexed in. The only 2 ways we've ever used was the homeowner or the person who owns the land request to be annexed in, or we've had legislation annexed. The only time we've had that is down Highway 72 with no personal property was annexed with it. And we have no plans of asking the legislation to annex any of the subdivision. Again, we have a comprehensive plan on our road paving. This year alone, we've heard a lot of discussions that we don't take care of our roads. This year alone, we spent over $500,000 paving. See, 2nd Street was paved. That knocks, they were a little bit further down on the list, but the road conditions and how much it was traveled pushed it up. And that was done through the grant money we worked with the county with, and then the matching city funds on that side. The previous years, we spent about anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a year on road projects. So for a city our size, we spend a lot of money per person paving roads. And we understand not all our roads are perfect, but that's why we have an engineer needs to do it. Put them in. Again, we're only asking the county commission to clarify the inventory on the road. It's nothing to do with annexing any personal property. And all the city wants to do is maintain the current services that we're already providing everybody out there without interruption, without any additional cost to people. That's all we have.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. Does any of the commissioners have any questions concerning the information Mr. Spencer just given us?
Of the 56% of the properties that are in the city, what streets are those on?
All of them.
All of them, so it's just kind of mixed in, they do one in?
It's from the highway moving up. The majority they're not in the city are in the outer band, on the outer edges.
Question I have is, how can you, these inventories show up on the county inventory, and some of it show up on the city inventory?
We have no idea. We've always thought they were on the city's inventory. We didn't even know it was on the county inventory. There could be more roads out there.
And the past here.
Yeah, and it goes way before we were here and you were here, I believe, about when they were brought in, and then there was a law that, you mentioned it, the road that had a school bus became a county road, and
I don't know, this goes back to 1979.
I started saying.
It goes back.
State owned it, from what I can gather, information, the state owned this.
Back 77.
And it was turned over to the county commission. You know, from what I can gather, it's been people that's been annexed in. And we didn't come up here to cause the issue, not at all.
No.
We're gonna work with all the people. But when the people came to us, I felt like it was an issue that needed to be addressed, you know. And
oh,
when-
we need to address it.
and when the speed breaker was put on right there, and the rock was set aside, you know, that was an issue that I did not agree with, because I feel like that was a liability to the county.
And that's why we're asking if it's
This is
in the
what this
county
meeting is
or the
for.
city as well. Yes. Yeah, there's that liability and the speeding liability that started all of it, so.
So you're saying 25 of them are not, 25 parcels are not?
25, that would count.
We're getting away from what the county business is. It doesn't matter who is annexed in or not. Only thing we're talking about is the road.
Yeah,
The sale.
I just want to know what that consists of.
We're not gonna get into annexing into the property, period.
Yeah, I just don't understand how part of it was city and part of it was county. You know, that's the only issue I was wondering about.
Mr. Campbell, on our federal routes, what is it called that we federal dollars for? I can't remember.
Major collectors.
Major collector. I don't even know if Stevenson's got a major collector. Do you? I mean, I'm sure they do, but I just about bet you, Sharon, none of those are a major collector.
No, sir, they would be considered local road.
The reason I ask that question is because that's the only funds we have to pay with right now. So if y'all don't fall under that, we have absolutely no funds to pay with. So I wanted to see, you know, what we had, because I know in District 1, I don't have any at all, major collector.
Well, we've already made provisions on what roads that are to be paved in this year. And that's not one of them.
No. What I'm saying, I don't think it will be for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, because we're gonna do about a mile a year.
Next on the list, we have Mr. Harold Prince. Mr.
I'm
Prince.
here to talk on those speed humps that legally installed against Mr. Campbell's recommendation. And that road over there was a dirt road when we went there. We come to the city council and told them we'd all agree to go in the city if they paved the road. They told us to pave the road and they'd take us in. And we told them to heck with it. So the road got paved. Now they want to take our road. And we want to stay in the county. If that road goes in the city, then everybody's property over there is going to adjoin the city property. Right now, it don't. And as far as some of these people being in the city limits, there's some over there that's doubtful because they don't adjoin any city property. But if they get our road, every house over there will adjoin city property.
Thank you, Mr. Prince. Next we have is Miss Ann Prince.
Yes. I'm not sure if Mr. Spencer's figures are right over here. Your house was annexed in to city limits, was it not? Is there any property, city property adjoining your home?
No.
That's what I thought.
But city-
And I also thought that city property had to be adjoining in order to be annexed.
It has to join another city property.
Well, you're not adjoining any city
Yes.
property,
I
are you?
thought you meant city-owned property. No, mine is joining city property. My field next to me, the one.
And you're figuring of how many houses are in city limits, I do not think is correct.
I counted land plots, not houses on.
And,
land
well,
plots.
I know that way over half of the houses there are in county. And legally, we belong to the county, everybody over there. The first 2 houses in the subdivision are in city limits. We came to a city council meeting and we denied an annexation that was in a whole row of county houses. The mayor denied us that right to deny it. And if anyone protests, you cannot annex. And he turned around and annexed. And I do have a document here because there is not much known about our subdivision. And I would like to present it to you to look at. Stating that we do belong to Jackson County.
Can we make copies of this?
Yes, you can. It's protective rights for us, and our protective rights have been violated.
Well, we'll make copies of this, and usually at the time of Frank, we will look at this.
It has been probated, and it states plainly that we belong to Jackson County, not the city of Stevenson. And the speed hump was illegally installed. No one was asked. You did not sign off on it. Jonathan Campbell told them not to put it in, and the mayor went straight and put it in.
Well, let us get copies of this so we'll have time
And
to
I
look it over.
believe
Excuse me, you're addressing the chair.
Okay?
Let us have time to look at it where we can study it over. And then we can address this at a later time. We haven't had time to look at this. So. and-
Well, it
and,
states plainly that we belong to Jackson County.
Okay. And ma'am, your time will be up.
Okay.
Thank you for your help.
Okay?
And does the police department here have a copy where we can get this tonight?
Yeah.
I don't know if they do or not.
Okay.
Spencer said they had one.
Yeah.
Okay?
So, thank you, ma'am. We'll make copies and get this back to you.
Okay?
Next, we've got Thomas G. Steele from Stevenson.
You know, I signed that, I didn't know what it's for, I wasn't gonna talk, they didn't want to say nothing, but where the speed hump is in front of my house. The rock is in front of my house. I've got videos here on the phone, I can show you my ditch when I moved out there, it was probably as wide as from that wall to that flag. You could have run a car off in there and couldn't have seen it. I fixed my road in my ditch and put tile in it. All right? Didn't have nothing to do with the speed humps. I got up, I don't get up early. I got up one morning, it was there. I got up another morning, the rock was there. But since that's happened, I've got video of people going around the rock between it and the telephone pole in my yard and back out on the road. Now, do y'all think that, what if I got 5-10 yards off and went up through there, went through everybody's yard? I mean, you know, you just tell me. I can show you. They're still going around the hump. That's against the law. Nobody's doing nothing about it.
Can I speak?
Thank you, sir.
That's all I got.
Thank you, sir.
Can I say just one thing?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we come in behind you the other day and you went around it. And I went over.
You a damn liar.
You a damn
You a damn liar.
No, I ain't. You're
If you
driving
come in behind me, I did not go around you.
Well,
No,
somebody
sir.
was driving your truck.
No, sir, you lied.
Mr.
No,
Prince.
I'm not lying.
Yeah, you are.
Mr.
I'm
Prince.
not.
Mr. Prince.
Mr. Prince.
I believe I know.
One more outburst, and y'all have to leave.
I ain't putting up this shit no more.
Hey, listen, we're gonna have to ask you to leave now, sir.
Hey, I'll leave right now. I wasn't gonna come, didn't want to come.
I apologize for that first, folks. The next person on the list to speak is Keith Davis.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize, I didn't put my glasses on. I thought that was a list of the folks who were here. I didn't wish to speak.
I understand, I've got them everywhere too. Thank you.
I got mine, but they were laid over here when I signed up, so I need to read the fine print next time.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
anyone give me a date as to when our subdivision was placed underneath law enforcement enhancement?
No, ma'am. Can't give you that right now.
Mr. Spencer should be able to.
We're not here to discuss that,
We're
we're
not.
here to
We're
discuss the
discussing
road.
the road and the road only.
But I can answer it to state law. I can go back and find the state law that says that you pay with 1.5% on your electric bill for that.
Oh, I know that.
But it's required by the state for communities. It's 1.5%, a mile and a half outside.
We need to move forward with this. Is there any discussion with the council, the commission concerning this matter?
No, not at this time, sir.
Well, I'm
I want to
gonna,
look over these papers.
I will also look at them between now and the next commission meeting, but it'd be my recommendation that we put this as a motion in front of the commission to either put this road in the city of Stevenson city limits or not at the next meeting. This has drug out for a long time, and we've got information from both
The
sides.
vote would be to vacate the road to the city,
Right.
not
Not
anything to do
Nothing
with city
else.
limits.
Just the road. We're gonna vacate the road. If the vote goes to that, we'll vacate the road, and the city of Stevenson will do a maintenance agreement and a quick claim deed. If the commission votes to keep it in county inventory, that's what will happen. And I make the recommendation that we put that on the next commission meeting, next Monday night.
I agree.
So Tim, you're gonna make a motion?
We don't make a motion during that. We will, if there's no objection, I'll place this on the agenda for next commission
That's what I was
meeting.
looking for.
Well, this is all we have on the agenda for today's work session. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no.